Spent the last 2 days avoiding responsibility, and that's why I've got pigtails on. So back at the beginning of January, I did an unhaul where I slated books that I was looking to get rid of, and no one came for me. So I feel like either the ASMR was worse than I thought it was and no one could hear me, or no one really cares what my opinion is, which is also fine. Since then, I have bought more books. So this is a haul over the entire month. So I haven't bought these from one place or at one time. This is just kind of over the entire month, and I've kept them stored in this basket, and I had to wrestle this basket off of my cat because he was nice and comfy asleep in it. So I hope you enjoy. We'll start with the books that I bought from charity shops. So we've got a Oxfam in our Folkestone Town Centre, and in Hythe there's a Demelza bookshop, which are just charity shops just for books. And I go in there quite a lot, and that's where I took the books that I was donating and de-hauling. And the first book that I bought was J.B. Priestley's An Inspector Calls. This is more of like a business investment. I tutor English students because I can't give up teaching 100%, even though I kind of have. And this is the only book that I don't have from the syllabus to help teach. So I felt like I needed a copy. You can tell it's an old school copy because there's like stickers and stuff on the side of it, and it comes in a plastic book cover, protected book cover. So if you don't know about An Inspector Calls, because you aren't at school anymore or you just don't care, Inspector Calls is a play about a young girl who is found dead. She's committed suicide. An entire family are responsible, and they kind of learn about their responsibility through that. So this has other J.B. Priestley plays in it, but I won't need those because they're not on the syllabus, but I might give them a read if I have the time or if I so choose. But this is mainly so that I can scribble all over a copy and not feel guilty because it was only £1. Because if I spend more than £1 on a book, then I tend to feel bad about it. So that was for school. It was also like, so the Penguin Classic originally was £9.99. Just seeing that at the bottom, I was like, it always blows my mind how expensive books are for school or uni. You spend so much on them. I would definitely recommend, if you're looking to go to uni in the next couple of years, check out the charity shops first for your books, because they always seem to have some of the classics and you're just saving so much money. And if you're not sure if you've got them or if you can't find them, message me because I probably do have them. Speaking of which, another classic that I bought for another £1 was Homer's The Iliad. I am looking to do some projects related to mythology over the next few years, so again I wanted a cheap copy that I wasn't going to feel bad scribbling all over. This is a really pretty copy, actually, considering this is a charity shop bought one. This has hardly been opened. It's got a couple of scuffs, and the sides are obviously like stained where they've like caught the sun or whatever. But other than that, this book is completely intact. So I will still probably feel guilty for scribbling all over it, but again, it was £1, so I don't feel quite as bad as if I bought like a brand new copy. So yeah, that was that choice. Another one that I bought is Turn of the Screw. I've got quite a few of the vintage classics that have the red spine, but this is one of the few that I haven't actually read. I've heard really good things, and I know people that have studied English Lit have read it, and considering it was on the back it said see also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I really enjoyed that, and I was like, well, maybe they'll be similar. I don't know much about the story, other than that it has an Oscar Wilde endorsement, so that's got to be a good sign. So I'm quite excited about that, but mainly it was just another excuse to get another read back, and to read some different classics, because I read classics quite a lot. I did whilst I was at uni, and I feel like it's tricky to find ones that I'm interested in that I've not already had to study, because I'm not saying that there's not many, it's just, you know, the white writers I've kind of already covered. But for the same reason, I also got Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and obviously that's another red spined one. It also helps that they look really pretty on my shelves. I collect the black Penguin classics, the Oxford ones that have the white spine and the red spine. And when I do my shelf tour, which I will inevitably do at some point, I just wanted to get these books find a space for them on my shelf and then do it, then you'll be able to see just how far along my collection is coming, and I'll be able to show you which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. There's only, other than the ones that I've got here, I think there's only 2 in those shelves that I've not read yet. So I also went on a trip to Stratford with my mum. She won an award for her independent celebrancy circle thing. She's part of a society of independent celebrants, and an independent celebrant is someone who can marry you without a licensed venue. So if you want to get married in your garden or whatever, or by the sea or in the woods or whatever, that's what she does. And much like with any society, they have awards. So I went with her for that, and used it as an excuse to wander around Stratford and take lots of pretty pictures. And I also went to their Oxfam bookshop, and I bought Pig Heart Boy by Malorie Blackman. I know she's got some more of her books coming out with Murky Books. I don't know if those are new ones or not, but Pig Heart Boy was one of my favourites as a kid. So this weekend just gone was the PJ Day-a-thon with Meg with Books and Rachel's Reading Journey. I swear to God, I call her by a different name every time. It's the same girl that does Rachel's Realm and Bookie Trials, a fantastic YouTuber. You're probably already subscribed, I don't know why I'm explaining her to you, but she's incredible. And whilst I was doing that, I reread some of the books that I read as a kid to kind of bulk up my TBR for this month. And I was going to read Pig Heart Boy as well, but unintentionally I created a TBR that was really witchy, so I ended up reading The Witch Child starting Witch Week, and I've also got Beautiful Creatures. But I've just got a real nostalgia for the books that I read as a kid, and I thought when I saw this for £1, I was like, I have to. Like, I just have to. It was one of my favourites as a kid. I think it made me cry. I feel like it's going to make me cry again. But it was turned into a TV series, and it was just really heartwarming. So I'm quite excited to reread that and have that back on my shelf where it belongs. I also bought The Selection by Keira Cass. Now, when this first came out, I pitched, this is completely unrelated to this book, except the reason why I didn't read it when it first came out is I pitched a book to my best friend. I wanted to write this story that involved a lot of ball gowns, and it involved a lot of like intrigue, and it involved like a hierarchy and all this sort of stuff. And I was really excited by this new book idea, and I think I have notes that I made way back when I first pitched this idea, and I'm talking like in secondary school, so this is not a recent idea that I had. But I was really excited about it, and I pitched her this idea, and she didn't really comment on the idea at all. She just kind of went, that sounds like The Selection. And that was it, that's all she said, and I was like, oh. Let's talk about something else then. So we ended up talking about something else, and I just remember that I had this like hatred in my heart for The Selection, purely based on that, which is really selfish and really narcissistic. So when I saw it in the charity shop for £1, I was like, well, here's my chance to actually read The Selection, because it's been like reviewed. People seem to love this book. It'll be quite an easy read because it's obviously a YA. I don't know if it's YA or middle grade. Yeah, YA. So I feel like it will kind of tick quite a few boxes for me, and I need to get over myself. So I bought it for that reason, and I will read it. And then if it's trash, I can go back to being bitter about it. And if it's really good, then I'll read the rest of them, because I think it's the beginning of a series. I don't know how many books there are now. This must be an old copy because it doesn't say. So yeah, so I know that there's a series that kind of goes with this. So eventually, maybe, if it's any good, I'll commit to it. But if it's not the end of the world, because it was only £1. The last book I bought from the Stratford Oxfam bookshop was Blue Bloods. Now, I was having a flick through my Goodreads, and I cannot remember when or why I put this on my Goodreads TBR, but it's on there. So when I saw it in the charity shop, I was kind of like, well, it's been on my TBR. I can't remember putting it on there, but there must be like a reason. And I bought it, and that was basically it. So the description is, they are young, fabulous and fanged, and they rule Manhattan. From the trendy uptown clubs to the downtown boutiques. 15-year-old Shulia Van Allen, I'm going to need to learn how to say that name, has never quite fit in her exclusive prep school. She's more of a vintage than a Versace girl, but that's all about to change because Shh has just found out she's a blue blood. The blue bloods are the city's glamorous and secret vampire elite. They're young, beautiful and powerful, and now they're being murdered, and Shh must find out who or what is behind it before she's next. Okay, I can see why I put this on my TBR now. You got vampires and you got murder mystery, so here's hoping that wasn't a waste of £1. Oh, I'm either going to love this or hate this, and I don't know how excited I am about that. I also want to do a video about all the books written by my lecturers and kind of show you what each of those lecturers taught me. And I realised, bar one of my lecturers where I cannot find any of his books anywhere, I don't know what name he's written under, and I don't want to ask him because I don't want to be that guy. I only had one lecturer that I didn't have a copy of one of their books. So I also bought Cold Blood by Richard Kerridge. Richard Kerridge was my first tutor at Bath Spa during my MA. And he gave me the most awkward advice ever, which was that your story is just a lot of plot. And then he gave me 6 weeks to just kind of mill over it before I had to go to him and ask him to explain to me what he meant. And he did eventually explain, and he's a great guy. So I kind of want to read his book and see what my opinion is on that, and then kind of go through, like I said, the rest of my lecturers and see whether the advice they've given me for my story is actually evident in their writing. Because I apparently have too much time on my hands. Because why else would you do that? I'm hoping that I can...
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've literally just dropped that and chucked it on the floor. I am hoping to go and visit him soon. And then maybe I'll get him to sign it. That would make him feel really uncomfortable and I could get my revenge. So I then went to Blue Water Waterstones. My nan gave me a £50 gift voucher for books, and I think I spent it quite well. I spent more than £50, but I bought quite a few books. So I will go through all of those with you, but these are the only ones that are kind of brand spanking new, not second hand, except for Cold Blood. So the first one I bought is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I have not read this yet, and before you get mad at me, this came out in 2015, and in 2015 I was just about starting to train as a teacher. I stopped playing rugby, I stopped horse riding, I stopped hanging out with my friends, I focused 100% on being a teacher, and I just knew I wasn't going to have time. I didn't do any reading that year except what was on the syllabus. So please don't be too mad at me that it is taking me this long to come back around to it. I am really excited. I got Ninth House for Christmas, and I have read another book by Leigh Bardugo, but I cannot remember. It might have been part of an anthology or something else. So I do really enjoy Leigh Bardugo's writing, I just haven't got around to it. And I used to be part of a book club that then recommended it to me, so it then got put on my TBR list, but I haven't as of yet read it. So I thought if it's on my shelf, I'll have no excuse. So for example, this month I've done my Top Trumps TBR, which is 4 books and a self-published book, and I've read more than that this month. So I feel like if I've got something like this on my shelf, I'm more likely to pick it up and actually read it and finally catch up with all the other amazing YouTubers who have talked about this book to death. I just want to feel involved. And I know that, I think the third one? No, something else has come out recently related to this. Because yeah, this is a duology, but I think a third book has come out in the same verse. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. But it's a hefty boy. I'm trying to work out why there's like random black lines on the print. Oh, okay, the different parts. I didn't realise they had big old black pages as well, which is exciting. But yeah, there you have it. So more books that you guys have talked about 100 times and I've only just got to. I bought Nevernight and Godsgrave. I refused to buy the third book that has just come out because they don't have a paperback, and I really like my books to kind of sit together nicely on the shelf in their series, so I really don't like buying 2 paperbacks and then the hardback because I just think it looks weird. And I'm vain like that with my shelves. So I bought both of them because I figure from everyone talking about it, I know these are going to be traumatic, And if you're going to have a traumatic experience, you might as well rip the band-aid off and read both at the same time. That's my theory. So I'm hoping by the time I actually get to these and read these, the paperback will be out and I'll be able to read all 3 and just cry myself to sleep for a couple of days. So I bought those. And they are gorgeous. And Jay Kristoff seems really cool. He's responded to a couple of my tweets like a good guy. So even if I don't enjoy them, I'm sure it'll be absolutely no reflection of him as a person. Anyway, I also bought Loveboat Taipei? I wish I knew how to pronounce half these names, but I learned them by reading them, and I don't have anyone to come and correct me. So if you can tell me how to pronounce these names so I sound like less of an asshole, that would be amazing. I've just realised where all this... I keep trying to work out why there's loads of hair on these books, and it's because Mozart was asleep on them earlier, and there's just cat fur everywhere. And he's a long-haired cat, so it's literally like it's stuck into the pages, which is really annoying because this is all like sprayed and stuff, so it's really pretty and it's all like shiny and new and it's covered in cat hair. And what you can't see is my other cat down there pawing at a cushion. Anyway, so yeah. I've just finished reading Jenny Han's To All the Boys I Loved Before, and this was recommended as, if you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy this. So I thought, I've ordered the next 2 books through an independent bookshop in town, but I needed something now, so that's why I bought this. And I just love the fact that they've sprayed the edges as well. I think that looks really cool, and it all matches and it looks really smart, so I'm quite excited about that one. I also bought another classic, but I bought a nicer copy. So this is The Picture of Dorian Gray, another Penguin classic, black cover. I really enjoy this story. I like the fact that so many people have tried to like adapt it, but this to me just stands alone as a classic. It's also quite a nice short classic as well, so if you need like an introductory classic, this or Jekyll and Hyde is definitely my recommendations for that. And I just wanted to reread it, and I don't have a copy on my shelf, which is crazy because I've definitely studied this before, but I may have borrowed it from someone else, or I may have lost it to time or donated it or whatever. So I wanted to have a nice copy, and then it adds to my collection of Black Penguin classics anyway. And then, so with, I think it was Loveboat, I think this was buy one get one half price, so I also bought Nevertell. It was literally, so they were on the table of like buy one get one half price, and this one just looked the most interesting to me. Some of the other ones I'd either already read on the table or I just wasn't that interested in, but there was something about this front cover, probably the wolves, the werewolves or wolves howling on the front, the moons, the colours, it all just looked really pretty, and I've not actually read the back of it until now, and I've just realised that the main character is called Lena, and my best friend is called Lena, and it's set in Russia and she's obsessed with Russia. I'm seeing her on Tuesday. I'm definitely going to have to take this book with me and just show her, because that's weird that I just picked that up out of nowhere. Sometimes it takes a little courage to discover magic. 11-year-old Lena has never seen the world beyond the prison camp until the night she escapes with her best friend Bogdan. I'm definitely Bogdan in this situation, aren't I? As the pair journey across snowy Russian wilderness, they are pursued by a vengeful sorceress and her pack of shadow wolves. The children will need every ounce of bravery and a little sorcery of their own if they are to survive. So that's cute. I'm excited. Nevertell, a world of magic is only a whisper away. A tale that sparks with frosty magic from Thomas Taylor. I don't know who Thomas Taylor is, but that sounds like a positive endorsement. And I feel like it matches my outfit as well, so it's all the right colours. Cute. And then the one that I'm most excited about. So I worked out that of January last year I read 3 books, and then I didn't read anything else until July. And then in July I read 1 book, and then I didn't read anything else until November, and then from November on, that's when like my reading kind of like sparked up properly. And what broke the reading slump was Melissa Albert's The Hazelwood. So when I realised that upon reading it she had a new book coming out, I was going to pre-order it, I don't know why I didn't. I don't know if it's that I just didn't have the money at the time or Amazon failed me, but I couldn't get a copy of it. And it came out in the US before it came out in the UK. And then I spent ages looking for it. And I follow her on Twitter, so I could see that she was doing tours and signings and all these things. But not in the UK at all, just across the US. So I was getting more and more frustrated. And I was going into Waterstones and they didn't have it. And then eventually I popped into a Waterstones whilst I was just randomly waiting for my sister-in-law to finish getting her nails done, and they had a copy, and it's beautiful. So this is The Night Country. This is book 2 of the Hazelwood series, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's shiny, it's got all the sprayed edges as well. It's not signed. It does include deleted scenes though, so that's exciting. And definitely something that, like, as a writer, if I can get my book published and then just add some deleted scenes rather than actually have to delete any of it because I really enjoy it, then that would be really cool. I feel like she's living the dream here. But that's the one that I'm most excited about. I scored the Hazelwood like a 4 just because it kind of feels a bit crazy, because you start in this normal world and then you kind of fall down Alice's rabbit hole with it. But actually, I feel like I'm more prepared for that with this one, and I will be really, really surprised if this isn't 5-star. But yeah, so that's the one I'm most excited about. And that's the books that I bought. It is more books than I unhauled, but only by like 2. And most of those were charity shop books anyway, is my argument. But yeah, they'll be added to my TBR. Some of these are in my TBR cards already, I just didn't own them. And some of these were just obviously random pickups, so are not in my TBR, but may come up as time passes. So, are you even a real YouTuber if your camera doesn't cut out? That's all from me. Please like, share and subscribe. Comment below with which book you think I should start reading first. Comment which book you would unhaul immediately and you think I've made a terrible mistake. And have a nice day.